Reconvene our September the 10th meeting, and we'll now go to the order of business. Madam Clerk, if you would, let's take items 7A and B together as a package, please.
Item A, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 6664 Sand Switch Road from R1 residential zone to R5 residential zone, subject to certain conditions. Item B, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance so as to rezone part of a property located at 7437 Shallowford Road from R1 residential zone to RTZ residential townhouse 0 lot line zone, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Both items being on final reading, move to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion does carry. Moving now to ordinances under first reading. Madam Clerk, I think since both of these are mandatory referrals, let's take items 8A and B together.
Item A, an ordinance closing and abandoning the unopened right-of-way in part of the 5100 block of Strickland Circle as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions. Item B, an ordinance closing and abandoning the open right-of-way in the north and south row 400 block East 16th Street as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 8A and B with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. So moved. Moving now into our planning item. Madam Clerk, C, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 5755 Cassandra Smith Road from R1 residential zone to R3 residential zone for the approval of the portion of the cell tower leased area.
Case number 2024-0069, is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Okay, Councilman Smith, I see some opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have spoken to the applicant many times, as well as a lot of those that are in opposition to this case. There was a request made to have this deferred to 11/19, so November 19th, in order for the applicant to evaluate both this location and I'm very hopeful other locations that may be more suitable for this than where it is that they're selecting. So with that, sir, I don't want to take away from opposition's opportunity to speak. If you would like to, I would definitely like to give you that opportunity since you came down here. But Mr. Chair, I do move to defer this until November 19th.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to defer until November the 19th with a proper second. Any questions or comments before we vote? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. The ayes have it. So this case will be heard again on November the 19th. Moving now to resolutions. Madam Clerk, let's take items 9A, B, and C together as a package.
Item A, a resolution authorizing the mayor or his designee to award up to $40,000 in home funds to Habitat for Humanity of Greater Chattanooga area to construct a house at 917 Gillespie Road for affordable home ownership. Item B, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic Development to apply for and, if awarded, accept emergency rental assistance and eviction prevention program, ERA, EPP funds from the Tennessee Housing Development Agency, THDA, to be used for rapid rehousing and homelessness prevention activities for an amount not to exceed $929,600. Item C, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Wastewater to approve change order number 4 with CDM Smith, Inc. for contract number W12026-102, DuPont Pump Station and Basin Improvements Phase 2 to extend project representation and construction administrative services due to continued contractor delays for an increase of $37,893, resulting in a revised contract amount of $3,191,025.58.
What's the pleasure of the council? All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve items 9A, B, and C with a proper second. Are there any questions or comments before we vote? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. Moving now into purchases. Oh, man. You breaking out the big guns or what? Huh? Oh, you just introducing that, I guess.
Yes, so obviously we've had some staffing changes, so moving forward, our Chief Purchasing Officer, Debbie Talley, will be reading the purchases.
Okay.
That's my only role here.
Are you sure? Thank you. Thank you, council. Tonight, we have 2 purchases for recommendation for approval. The first one is Fleet Management Division, Public Works. This is a request for an increase of $5,015 due to the increased cost of steel on the body of the vehicle. This was originally approved on May 31st of 2022 for $200,771.96. Using the Sourcewell contract number 060920 NVS. The new contract is $205,786.96. The second purchase is for Facilities Management Division of Public Works. This is year 2 of 4. American Paper and Twine requested a price increase of 3% for janitorial and cleaning supplies due to the market condition. The new estimated annual spend will be $155,000. The Facilities Management Division has approved the increase.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve this evening's purchases. The proper second, questions or comments before we vote? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. So moved.
Okay, council, we have one sole source purchase to report. It's for technology services. The Department of Technology Service wishes to provide an annual subscription to Oracle University for 13 city staff members in the amount of $32,500. Oracle University is the only educational platform that offers the Oracle classes and certifications.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, we move now to committee reports. Councilwoman Coonrod.
Chair, we had a committee report today where we talked about the summer camp on community development.
Thank you. Councilwoman Noel?
No report, Mr. Chair.
Councilwoman Dotley?
We will have a public safety committee meeting next week.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Smith?
No report, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Ledford? All right. Councilwoman Burrs?
No report, sir.
Vice Chair Hill?
No report.
Thank you. Now we'll come to the time on our agenda that we recognize persons wishing to address the council this evening. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the council? Ask the attorney if she would read the rules to address the council while you line up at the podium.
Yes, these are the city council rules for public comments. Each speaker wishing to address the council shall be recognized only at the microphone provided for that purpose. No person shall have more than 3 minutes to speak. The speaker may address the council only upon matters within legislating and quasi-judicial authority of the council. The speaker may not address the council on matters which are not under the authority of the council and which are regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. The speaker shall not be permitted to use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. The speaker should address the council as a whole and not make comments directed towards individual council members. Persons wishing to address the council may do so only once during a council day, either at the agenda session, at the committee meeting, or at the council business meeting. The chair shall not permit disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting which is prohibited by Tennessee law. A person commits an offense if the person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you. Mike Price, MAP Engineers, and I'll take less time than what it took to tell me what I should not be speaking about or how to do it. I would like to bring to your attention as a council, it affects each and every one of your districts. And that is that in the landscape ordinance, which we go through and certainly try to adhere to and go through the proper process at the Land Development Office and get permitted as it relates to landscaping and placing trees, especially along street yards and in buffers and other areas. Let me tell you where there's a hole in this ordinance, and I want to bring it to the council's attention, and hopefully this is, as I know it's getting to be election season soon, so this is not really a council action, but maybe council could direct this maybe to be something to be addressed, and that is this. If you go up and down most of your streets in areas where you've seen new development, you will see trees that are taken out. And you know what the penalty or the action is as it relates to the city if trees are taken out? Nothing. Which then begs the question, why are we spending time and energy and money planning landscaping, and then as soon as it's in the ground and as soon as you get a CO, that tree has no protections that are offered to it by the city, and they can be completely taken out, whether it's by complete disregard for the ordinance or just simply disease or whatever the case may be. So I can drive up and down where I live, Gun Barrel Road, in those areas. I see trees that have been taken out over the years and not one's been replaced. I can go through other districts as I go through the city and I see the same thing happening. So if we're going to have a landscape ordinance, my ask would be that give it some teeth, give it some ability that future generations can enjoy what the intent was when we planted these trees. Because as it stands right now, it's not happening. And I think that's something that should be addressed as I see more and more development occurring. It's not continuing in the same manner as when it was first constructed and got to CO. So just wanted to bring that to y'all's attention. I thought today would be a great time to bring it to your attention since you're moving so quickly, that this might be an opportunity to bring that up to everybody at one point. So thank you for your time.
Madam Vice Chair?
Thank you. Mr. Price, so are you suggesting that the city of Chattanooga revise its tree ordinance to address rights and privileges of trees on private property? Is that what you are advocating for?
So we have rules and regulations that affect private property all the time as it relates to anything from fire department to parking requirements and the rest. So I'm a strong property owner rights advocate, but by the same token, if we're going to develop, if we're going to have standards, high standards, if we're going to see our community develop in ways that we want it to, then you also have to make certain that those that are bad actors or simply don't know that they simply can not remove those types of improvements. As we remove the canopy with developments, you've got to replace it, right? That's been a key component as it relates to how landscaping really was brought about here in the city with that requirement. So yes, I'm advocating that. As a matter of fact, I've even thought, well, and again, this could be more of a legal issue, but you could go back and see anybody that got a permit in the last 20 years, the landscape ordinance has been in effect. So you could theoretically, I would think, go back and say if you were required to do it, then you should go back and plant trees that are missing as of today. But again, I'm not an attorney, so I don't know how all that might work, but I think it needs to be addressed moving forward. And then whether or not you want to try to, correct actions taken in the past, that's another question altogether, I guess, in my mind.
Okay, thank you for elevating that.
Thank you.
That's all. Thank you, Chair.
Hey, John, District 9. This is going to be real quick, but I just wanted to actually echo something to that. Y'all all know I'm pro-development, pro-housing, and a parking lot across from my house got turned into apartments, and I went there and advocated for it. And what felt pretty sneaky was in their plans, they showed that they were going to retain some of the legacy trees on that lot. So the plans showed it, and I went to bat for that company saying we should let this be built. Then, of course, they ended up having to take out those trees, but they promised they would plant 5 trees for every tree they took out, and they did, and most of those trees are already dead because they didn't water them. And so this is one of those things where, yes, it is private property, but part of their zoning changes and the things that we asked for as a neighborhood were given to them under the expectation that the urban tree canopy would be retained on the street. And one of the things is we had an article come out this summer about the urban heat island effect, and the urban tree canopy is crucial in making places walkable, good for economic development, and good for pedestrians and connectedness. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of my experience with this, where the developer in this case is saying one thing, doing another, and getting away with it, essentially because there doesn't seem to be any repercussions.
Yeah, we see a lot of that. Anybody else that'd like to address the council this afternoon?
Good evening. I'm not addressing the council for my 3 minutes. I just want to respond to the tree issue. As some of you know, we do have a tree ordinance coming to this body very soon. There's a tree commission in the city of Chattanooga government. Their statutory role is to review tree ordinances before they get to city council, and that's the part of the process we're in right now. In a couple of weeks, I will not be here for this meeting because that's when the tree commission meeting is. So it will be coming to you within the next month. It will provide protections for trees on both public and private property.
Oh, that's new. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? That's why I'm not seeing anyone else that would like to address the council. So moved. Adjourned.